All right, guys. This is Gabe from Weekenders Weekly here, and today I have the great pleasure of being joined by the guys from Queens Country Club. I got Justin and Brandon right here, guys. Queens Country Club has been on my radar for years. They were one of the first brands that I noticed was able to take kind of golf tradition as a whole and really spin it into something unique and location based, which we see a lot these days. So I just want to ask you guys a little bit, like, how did you Queens Country Club start? Like the idea, the design for it, like just a little bit about the beginning.
I started this brand during the COVID because I've been apparel industry for a long time, but mainly ladies side. But during the COVID, nothing, everything stopped. So I would stay home. I'm thinking about what I'm going to do, and I realized this is time for me to do my own thing. I like golf a lot, even though I play less. I mean, once in a while, but I just want to create a new brand for myself and someone who has same interest with me. And Queens was a little bit overshadowed by Brooklyn too, so it's good time for create new thing for the Queens resident. So that's where I started. Yes.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
That's dope, yo. And it's for me too, the first golf course I ever played in New York City, and honestly may have been in my first 10 rounds of golf ever. It was at Douglaston
I,
Country Club or golf course out in Douglaston, and I'm a big fan of
yeah,
that
most
track.
courses are in the Queens.
Yeah, man. So
Yeah.
I love it. You guys are putting on for a borough that is maybe a little overshadowed. You know,
Yes.
I'm curious too because like when you approach your designs, something I've noticed and I appreciate from Queens Country Club is a lot of the silhouettes and styles are kind of traditional in the way that they're styled, whether it's like the polos are a bit more, whether it's a cotton polo and you have like that kind of classic like stitching around the liner, the collar. And I'm just curious like how you approach these traditional styles of clothing with a modern design.
I mean, I try to design more like accessible to everybody, not only to the golfers, but all Queens residents. So instead of the using performance fabric, stick with the traditional cotton knit fabric. So everybody can wear. So this makes golf accessible to everybody.
Oh,
Those
that's great.
performance polos aren't always the look, especially in
Yeah.
walking around the city and stuff like that. It's cool because
Right.
you kind of wear it with anything, so it's fun stuff.
That's cool. And what something I noticed as well is that, and something I really don't see often is that on your website you actually denote a real difference between sweaters and sweatshirts. And I think like that detail approach is something that's important. And how do you? Yeah.
I'm in the industry for a long time, so I always hate to hear some people call sweatshirts for sweater. I don't like
Yeah.
that.
There's a
Uh,
difference,
you,
yo.
you can definitely appreciate the difference because it definitely, I don't know, when you're trying to dress it up a little bit more, a little classier, try to dress it down with maybe some jeans or some baggy khaki, something like that. Yeah,
Yeah.
got some versatility in there.
That's good, yo. That's perfect. Not just for New York City, which obviously has a trillion different styles, but like you guys were saying, like I saw, like Queens, the most diverse borough, so obviously that brings with it a diverse amount of styles and things you can wear. So I think it's cool, and something that I also like is obviously Queens Country Club, but a lot of your designs are kind of draw from the nature around the city as well as the city itself. And even now, you guys have a nice like natural background behind you, which is cool. And so, how come? Like, how have you made that such an important part of Queens Country Club?
And no, I mean it's one of those things that kind of when you're out in Queens, you feel a little getaway from the city, and like even here, where I don't know if we were to pan outside, you see the Empire State Building right across the water there, but we got just a little bit more space. So yeah, we got a bunch of golf courses over here. It's definitely some fun stuff.
That's cool. Speaking of like the golf courses, I know we already brought up Douglaston, but I do want to. I am curious do you have a ranking of Queens courses? Is there a Queens Country Club official ranking, or do we just have like a pick and choose?
No,
Oh,
we might have to cook a little something up. I mean,
yeah.
I'm definitely biased. I definitely got some bias, probably to Clearview and to those. I probably play those two the most. Those
Okay,
probably
Clearview.
shout out Forest Park a little bit too. Casino, little
Those
don't
are.
forget pitch and putt either. A little pitch and putt right by City Field over there.
I was gonna say, I mean, especially with the pitch and putt in Queens, I would say is the most accessible golf in New York City in all five boroughs, in my opinion. I mean, even probably cheapest for what you can do and accessibility in terms of how you can get there and what you can wear there. So I think that things like that, where it's in Queens and you're able to represent that through the clothing is really cool.
And definitely trying to represent more than just Queens as well. Because it's definitely I don't know. There's a lot of trendsetters in this kind of space. Like you got like the leaders in the industry. Your Mount. Um, but we figured we could carve ourselves a little pocket with some of that Northeast flair to it.
Yeah, I saw the Masters tee that or like the Masters collection you guys are coming out with. I saw the tee and I saw the towel. That's all five boroughs, correct?
Right, right, correct. Yes, yes.
That's
Yeah, you
cool.
kind of got to represent for Masters. Probably one of the best professional tournaments out there. Storied history there. So definitely got to do a little seasonal drop. So there'll probably be some more on the way. Kind of as the season progresses and what we see
Okay.
fit. Some
Yes,
good
yes,
stuff.
yes.
Good to
Always trying
know. Good
to
to
get into
know.
the shop, get to work on.
Oh, that's fire. And I think that I was a big fan of how you were able to take like that, like again, like take something as iconic as the Masters colors and even the flags, spin your own way onto it. And I guess this is kind of adjacent, just because we're talking about your logos. But tell me a little bit about the squirrel. I'm a big fan of animal logos, and that's
It's,
very unique.
yeah.
Yeah, there he is.
Good. It's definitely
Yeah. I mean, squirrel is everywhere in the golf course in Northeast. So I just caught it, and that's it. Right away. I thought this is it for our company mascot.
yeah.
Does he
They
have
got
a
to do.
name?
Yeah, I don't think so. We got to get one.
Maybe, yeah,
Maybe next promo you see me in a squirrel suit or something.
Oh man, that'd be If we could get you hitting in a squirrel suit, first
Yeah,
first tee
well,
starter at the tournament, that would be
that's good
great.
stuff. They're
Yeah.
they're definitely representative of like New York and New York golfers. It's definitely funny to see them scurrying around, messing with your ball, looking at it, checking it out. And, just really iconic thing to see in New York City.
Yeah, just because of like how where I lived in the city, for me it was easiest to go out to Van Cortlandt, and I
Yeah,
would
for sure.
always see the little fat squirrels running around there. And down here in Miami, we got lizards. Like it would be a lizard, not a squirrel. It was just like kind of scary. But and talk to me also a little bit about the design of the crown logo. I think it's really nice, and I'm curious like how the idea behind it came, and also how the idea for the color for it came. That red motif.
yeah. I mean, Queens.
Play on
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah. Cute, cute, big cute logo.
Yeah, with
Yeah,
the crown.
that's probably up there. Squirrel's definitely up there for good logo, but that red block letter Q,
Yeah, it's
um,
good.
like there's definitely some some embroidery places that definitely just have that type of font. Very iconic to Queens. You see a lot of stuff coming out of there with that
Cool.
type of style, little play on the crown. So yeah, that's probably up there for my favorites.
That's dope. And the color, I see like that. It's a really nice red color, and it's used on like most of the pieces I see. Is that just like something you wanted to use? Does that represent Queens in a way, or just like a personal touch?
It's more like a personal touch.
Yeah,
I
it's a little
mean,
style.
yeah,
It
yeah,
sits. I don't know. It sits real well to the eye on like the colors because it's
yeah.
black, navy, and white, and it just like I don't know. It feels like it pops. Like
Mm.
if we went too much for like a yellow kind of look, it feels like it'd get like faded out. But like the red kind of just like stands out, pops a little bit.
Yes.
Yeah, I like that one a lot.
I mean, it's a small batch of production, so my supplier suggests me to use one color only for the three background colors. So red is the best shot
Mm.
for those three background colors. So I
Yeah,
chose red.
yeah, that and that particular design is kind of like stitched on as well. So it's like really really good quality. So we kind of like maybe that you could see that in a different colorway, like it would a different drop. That's definitely something that could be in the
Yes.
wheelhouse. But for that original drop, it just we kind of wanted to stay with the cotton look, just something like stitched on that kind of wouldn't really fade, that last, and you can kind of just style it however you like.
That's really cool. I like I was mentioning, like I really appreciate like people who take like that approach to detail and certain, especially with things like stitching and like liners. And something that I just something I see you guys do a lot that you also take a lot of care with that I think is just as important is in-person events. I see a lot Queens Country Club meetups, whether it's at the course, at the simulator, like how comes something like that is so important to you guys as a company? Is it just naturally that way?
Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things that kind of like, you're not trying to just sell clothes at the end of the day. Like, you got to build a community and kind of feel like you're a part of something bigger. And what those clothes represent is definitely more meaningful. It carries more weight. And also, too, like, that's just like part of the fun of it all, because you don't really, you're stepping outside, you're trying to look good, you're trying to go out and meet people, see what's up, hear some stories, crack some jokes, and maybe knock the ball around a little bit. That's kind of just how that whole thing came about.
Sounds like a sounds like you guys take like the identity of a good round of golf and just kind of bring it with you wherever you go as a company. I think that's really good, not just for you guys, but for the game of golf in general. Making it like seem a little bit more open, especially in New York City. But I obviously Queens like a little bit adjacent. But have you guys found it? I mean, obviously you see where you are now, but let's say at the beginning, was it a little bit hard to start a golf brand in New York City? Like, or did it catch on quickly? Were people wearing it more on the street than the course?
That's close. That's close. I feel like it had an even dispersion, but definitely like, and one of the cool drops that we did was like the subway inspired line. So that definitely got a lot of like streetwear, like would wear it out, and people would always be asking about it. So that definitely like caught my attention. But yeah, it's definitely good.
Would you say you lean more towards like form or function, or are you chasing like a happy medium?
I think it was
Happy,
happy medium,
happy
right?
medium, yes,
Because
yes,
like
yes.
even like sometimes when you're like trying to get a piece of clothing that you could make so versatile, like the attention to detail matters that much more. Because like sometimes you have a nice polo, but it's kind of one of those tight ones you're a little restricted. So you definitely got to pay attention to those small details and kind of be able to work that into your ethos of like, hey, like, you know, we're trying to cross all our T's, dot all our I's, and really find that follows both of them in function.
That's cool. And I just feel like I don't know. I feel like I've seen you guys throughout the past, like you said, since COVID, like on Instagram. I always see people out on the course online wearing your stuff. Or do you guys have any plans to do a physical place in New York City? Are you guys already somewhere and I completely dropped the ball?
Ooh, I don't know. That might have to be a little bit down the pipeline, right?
Yeah.
Rent's expensive in New York City, man. It's tough.
Oh
So
man,
that's part of the community thing, and I think that's kind of why we lean into like the meetup thing. I definitely could see a future where like, okay, maybe we're in some shops. I mean, you definitely it's in some shops, but we don't have our own. Um, so that's not quite in the pipeline just yet. But this season definitely focus on like meetups, growing the community a little bit, and just creating a little bit more buzz.
that's cool. I'm excited to get back, and especially in the city with the Ryder Cup coming this summer. I'm sure golf's going to
Right.
be jumping, and I'm I think it's a good time for me to ask, man. I want to know about Royal Flush. I hear he's a brand ambassador. Is he a friend of the brand? He's spitting hot fire out in the streets. Like, what's going on?
Definitely friend of the brand. Definitely friend of the brand.
Yes, I
Yeah,
mean,
good dude. Did some partnerships in the past, and definitely putting on, and definitely like he's got a pretty solid following too. And yeah, just like getting it out there. And you had that event not too long ago as well,
yeah,
right?
yeah, yes, yes, yes.
Yeah. So
It was like a one-time collaboration. It was good, and That's the hip hop community also likes our brand. I mean our design. So a couple of audience from that community too now.
And that's kind of what it is. Just trying to appeal to everyone and kind of just find that in kind of what we're putting out there.
I like how you've kind of like found this just to use the word again, almost happy medium of streetwear and
Yeah,
traditional design. But it's almost like you have the streetwear inspired ideas on a traditional golf palette, where usually we're seeing like these days, and what you can even say some of the big box ones, we're seeing a golf palette on more streetwear things. What kind of keeps you like moving in the direction you're moving? Do you think it's just something like, do you not see it done in other places, or is it just like a, again, like something that like you're like, this is how I'm going to do my work?
I don't know. I definitely feel like we kind of yeah, I don't know. I think it's just like a cleaner look, cleaner. It carries a little more, and I think that's kind of how we bring the New York into it. You know, and not to say that we won't ever venture into that side and do add a little more flair to the designs, but like you got to say what's tried and true. You know, like you can't go wrong with a nice clean polo, good little design on it, like nice cotton T-shirts that last you a good while. So it's one of those things like, yeah, I love those, and I definitely draw a lot of inspiration from them. But I just like to just trim it up a little bit. That's just I guess it's just the aesthetic stuff that we're going, especially Justin being from traditional like apparel wear. Like it's one of those things like that's kind of just what you're used to, what you deal with, and like even the sweaters, like it's just super classy stuff. So
I like that. I think it's nice to have, because there's so many. Once you really dive into like the different layers of streetwear, golfwear, and especially when you combine the two, you start getting all these different layers. And I think that you guys sit very uniquely in a space like like we were just talking about, just in that kind of like modern golf seeped in like traditional style. And I really commend that, and I think it's something that needs to be here to stay. And I also like how that reflects in the accessories. You guys have some really nice putter covers, head covers for driver, nice towels as well. Is that something you guys are looking to expand on as well a little? I mean, is that something in the pipe?
yeah, for
yeah,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah,
I think we can see that for sure. And it's one of those things like those pieces like okay, maybe you get a couple of shirts, you might not be wearing it all the time, but you're definitely rocking that putter cover. Stands out, like, and it's one of those things that iconic New York City streets, and you kind of you're just carrying it with you, and that it gets noticed. Wow, it just
Cool.
gets noticed. So that the towels definitely run through a lot of them, or hopefully run through a lot of them from side and stuff like that. Definitely
That's
more stuff pipeline.
that's great. I want to just before we depart, I touched on it before, but I might have to strong arm it a little bit. I want a ranking here. I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna keep it simple, and I'm gonna
Okay.
keep it just things that I know. Douglaston, Forest Hills, Casina, and Clearview.
Okay.
If it's too hard, I get it, man. I get it. It's
No,
hard for me to rank Miami
Doug,
courses.
and Douglaston. We'll throw that one in the mix too, right?
Okay. Oh yeah,
The
yeah.
pitch and putt got to take a seat, right? The ooh, I think I might got to go Clearview one, and
Okay.
people are gonna think I'm crazy, but just wait. They're on the Como. Just one.
Okay.
Um, it's kind of like a bomb and gouge place. Not, it's one of those city courses that's a little more open. You kind of
Okay.
just hit whatever you want off the tee, but it's got a little bit more length. It's not long by any stretch. It's probably like 6,200 yards, something like that.
Mhm.
But it's just kind of just a fun like hit all the clubs in your bag, some decent views, and conditions okay. But that's just what it is in the city. You're not really, we're not country club guys. But, that you're kind of just the play on the whole brand. But yeah, I go Clearview one, Douglaston two, uh, probably Kiss, Casino three, Forest four. I forget anything. No,
yeah,
I think that's it.
yes, right. Full courses,
Yeah.
yes.
I actually think that's pretty solid. The most recent course I played was Forest, and I went there from Manhattan on the subway. So I was literally walking through the forest. I was like, "What the hell's
Yeah,
going
yeah,
on?" I was
yeah.
so
And
lost, yo.
that
But
clubhouse kind of hidden up in those trees. It's tough to
yeah, man.
find, especially because the bus drops you all the way down on the other side of the park.
Yes, yes.
Sometimes
I
a little
was.
tough. It's definitely, but that's a good summation of the experience. That's like a hard nosed guy, you know. Like it's
I
tight. You got to duck for cover every couple of holes. It's fun stuff,
yes.
but
There's.
it's very like telling of the area it's in. Like
Oh
it
yeah.
fits itself.
That's a good. I'm a fan of that course. I said to myself, I didn't have my bag in the city at the time, so I said to myself, I was like, I looked up and there's like 80 flights of stairs in front of me up a hill. I was like, if I had my bag, this would be shot. But yeah,
Hey, we
the
made it. Though.
Queens.
We made it.
Yeah, you know, look, golfing in Queens is always a great time, and I'm very happy that there's people putting on for the borough and for the whole city, yo. So I think that's good. City golf in itself is such a unique thing, and I think that it's very different just from any other golf, just not because of not just the course himself, like you said about Forest Park. They have that one part where it's a par three, a par four going back, and then another par four going up the
Yeah,
other
yeah.
way. And it doesn't make any
Gets those
sense.
value.
Yeah, you got to literally, you could play three different holes at once if you wanted to. But I think that adds to the charm, and you got the squirrels running around and you got Royal Flush banging on your speaker, man. And that's what
Oh yeah.
Queens golf,
Oh,
it's just a good time, and it's diverse. And I think that you guys are able to represent that through clothing, which is difficult, but you guys are doing it, and I think that's really cool. Is there anything else you guys would like to say about QCC? Anything you want the world to know that we don't?
Well, I mean, we keep moving on, and to be recognized, and someday we could be discovered by whole world.
it blowed up. Got blowed
Yes, yeah.
up.
I hope so, man. I mean, look, you guys put the work in on the designs, on the materials, on the details. So I think that, like I said, it's golf in this crazy way that the apparel world is expanding. Has certain things like that. I think, in my opinion, certain companies have certain things they can rest on that will bring them and sustain them for longer periods, and things like attention to detail, things like very strong knowledge of materials and production. So, and just like a strong vision for where you want the brand to go and what it represents. And I got that from your social media and from the product I own, and I really got that again from this really dope conversation. So I can't thank you guys enough. Yeah.
Hey, thanks for having us, man.
Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thank you for your
No,
time,
it's
sir.
really cool. Queens to the world, baby.
Let's go. Let's
Yeah,
go. I
let's
love
go,
it.
All
Get
man.
right,
some
let's go.